Hello again, my name is Gabe Zollner. Well, 6 days have gone by since the presidential election, and we now have the same person that we know nothing about as president, and we still know nothing about that person. What we do know is that the Chicago machine is incredibly effective, and they were able to do what they did back in 2008, and that's steal an election. What's pretty amazing is that this time it's so incredibly obvious. We have counties in Colorado that had 140% turnout. That's interesting. How do you get 140% turnout? And they all voted for Obama. We have districts in Pennsylvania, 70 or 80 districts in Pennsylvania. Obama got 100% of the vote in those districts. The same applies to Ohio. We had citizens in Ohio that went to vote, and they were told, you can't vote because you already voted. You sent in an absentee ballot. Well, many of those left in frustration, but others didn't. And those that didn't were finally told that there was a human error mix-up, and they could vote, and they'd have to vote by absentee. Now, the question is, how many hundreds of thousands of people were turned away that didn't bother doing anything? What about the airplane that crashed coming out of Afghanistan and it had military ballots? That plane crashed 2.5 months ago. They never resubmitted those ballots. What about all of the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that were turned away? I mean, this is insane. This is completely and utterly insane. The problem is we have nowhere to go. We can't do anything. We can't go to our congressman. They're not going to do anything. We can't go to our senators. They're not going to do anything. We can't go anywhere. What really has to happen is that the people have got to demand by petition that there's a recount that takes place initially in Ohio. And depending on what is found and uncovered in Ohio, if fraud is proven to be rampant in Ohio, which I'm certain that it will be, especially when you have people that are told they've already voted when they hadn't voted. You know, it's really easy for the Chicago machine that's been on the ground for the past 4 years. All they have to do is get a hold of the voters roll. Find out where each person lives. Get their addresses, get their names. Then go ahead and request application for absentee ballots. Now, what you do is you monitor the mail delivery. And knowing when those applications should return to those residents, you simply remove them out of their mailboxes. And then you fill the applications in with the candidate of your choice. In this case, it's Barack Obama, as well as all of the Democratic senators and congressmen that are running for office. You submit them, and you see what happens. Now, if you do that to 1 million people, and let's say 500,000 don't bother voting at all, so you've got 500,000 votes for your candidate without any kind of repercussion. Now, out of the other 500,000 that might go to the polling booths like they did in Ohio, well, you might find, I don't know, half of them get frustrated and just leave, and the other half, they'll submit their absentee ballots. But those absentee ballots don't get counted for 10 days after the election. And Obama's already been crowned prince. As a matter of fact, what was it, ABC or NBC? They already said that he's won the election, what, 10 days before the election? Now, how could they know? How could they have known? How about the propaganda minister, David Axelrod? What did he do? Well, he went ahead and he said that he'll bet his mustache, what, 2 days prior to the election, that Obama will remain in power. He said that mustache for 40 years. Did he know something that we didn't know? I think he might have. What about Valerie Jarrett? What did she say? Before the election, she said it's payback time. That's interesting. She said those people that were with us, we're going to reward, and those people that were against us, they're going to get what's coming to them. And then she said they'll be held to pay. Now, can you imagine somebody in the White House in her capacity? I don't even know what her capacity is, but it's got to be something fairly big, because I understand she has, what, 3 or 4 Secret Service people 24/7. Anyway, how can anyone in any position of authority talk like that? And this thing with Benghazi, well, Petraeus just stepped down and is the head of the CIA. Well, that's because he was supposed to testify this week. And now that he stepped down, the second in command is going to testify. And what's he going to say? He's going to say, I know nothing. Like that movie, the German actor, you know, I know nothing. Well, the fact of the matter is, whatever they say doesn't matter. And the reason that it doesn't matter is this whole Benghazi thing, and I said this in a previous video before the election, is Operation Fast and Furious on steroids. I mean, we're talking major steroids. Not only did the boys in Syria and in in Libya receive weapons, automatic weapons, they received Stinger missiles. They received La rockets. They received, I mean, it's insane the firepower that's running around that country. And who controls that country? Well, I got to say, it's the Muslim Brotherhood with their partners in crime, Al-Qaeda. So, in essence, we're giving weapons through the arrangements that Obama's made through Libya and through Syria to Al-Qaeda insurgents that are using those weapons to do what? They're using those weapons to kill their own people. They're using those weapons to kill their own people. What is the point of the wars that America's fought in? Well, what did they go to war for? Well, they went to war to protect the rights of the people in those countries, to try to bring in democracy. You can't bring in democracy to people that have been raised from birth to hate. It doesn't work. We saw that across the world. We saw that it'll never work. And these people, our soldiers and our military, they're being maimed and slaughtered for no benefit. When we leave, when the last soldier leaves Afghanistan, it'll be meltdown time. Al-Qaeda is going to come in again. Those people, many of those people don't want to be ruled like that, but that's all they know. And that's all they're ever going to know. So you can't win against tyranny. You can't win against a culture that follows the Quran. If you don't want to join it, you have an option. You can join it. You can become a Muslim. But if you don't, that's what they do. And that's what they'll continue to do. And the sad part is, I don't really see any option here. We can't get Congress to demand a recount. They're not going to do it. Obama's not going to do it. No one's going to do it. He's going to stay in power. He's going to get rid of the Constitution. And he's going to get rid of Congress. So for all you congressmen out there and all you senators, when you had a chance to inflict change, you didn't. And you know whose throat you ultimately ended up cutting? Your own. He doesn't need you, and he won't have you. Once the Constitution's gone, Obama will remain in power for the rest of his life. He'll be no different than all the other dictators, because that's what he is. That's how he's ruled. All right? So, what choice do we have? I guess we can start praying. Don't know if that's going to do a whole lot for us. You know? My recommendation, go back to school. Start studying Arabic, because we're all going to need it. Sad, I hate to say it, but that's exactly where we're headed. I don't see it changing. We don't have anybody that's going to uphold their oath of office. Nobody. And he's going to continue down the path that he set to transform America. Yeah, he's doing a good job of that. Sad. Goodbye.